And we are live. Thank you so much, guys, for being here with me and with Chris and Andre. We are here for commenting on this year Sanremo. What do we expect? How is gonna be? Here with me, I have the pleasure to have Chris, that I know is
Hi
really
guys.
excited for this live, and
I certainly
Andre,
am.
that is, of course, helping me out with Italy this year. And exactly. So, guys, we are here just in order to have a brief, conversation also with you about Sanremo this year. What do we expect? How is gonna be? Of course, we don't know the songs because, as usual with Sanremo, the songs are revealed in the first nights. But anyway, Sanremo is structured as always. Pretty much nothing really changed. The most important things to say is that during the first three nights, we're gonna hear all the songs performed twice, and during the fourth night, we will gonna have covers night. That this year the the ranking of covers night will not influence the final ranking. So this is something that was discussed last year, and it was I mean, it was received quite badly last year because, of course, Joliet won last year, and many people were not in line with that, and also affected the final result. So this year is going to be a little bit different. Another thing that differs from last year is that in the final, when the top five will be announced and the vote will be open again, this time, not only the vote of the three juries, so the radio and TV juries, the press, and the televote will vote. Not just that vote will count, but also all the votes of the previous nights will count. So this is one of the main differences between this year's Sanremo and last year's Sanremo. But what are we expecting from this Sanremo? How is the lineup? What do you think, Chris?
I mean, Italy is not disappointing once again. Like, there are some huge names in this lineup once again. I feel like Italy keeps on bringing more and more every year to Eurovision. And yeah, this year's going to be no different. We've got some returning artists, some new artists in there, some artists that have represented other countries before. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a great year this year.
Exactly. Well, it's Sanremo showed us that in the last years, actually, the major Italian artists are willing to compete in this festival. But what is your opinion, Andrei? What do you expect from this year's Sanremo?
So the thing that most excited me, if I have to be honest, was how the new creative direction, which is of course the one of Carlo Conti right now, which is also the new host. The really interesting to me thing to me was how he actually managed to get a lot of these artists that don't really sing strictly in Italian in the competition. We have seen that with Joliet last year, for example, which was seen as a bit of a taboo. There were people that were not really agreeing with it, people that were liking it. But this time we have again a lot of new dialects into Sanremo. So I think I like this new direction that the competition is taking. And the overall selection of artists is pretty damn exciting. I have a bunch of friends that are already talking about Sanremo, so the info and
Only
the
a
communication
bunch?
is already on point.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in Italy during Sanremo, and actually months, even months before Sanremo, is talking about Sanremo.
Yes,
Everybody
every
says
time.
it's based on pizza, pasta, and Sanremo, and it's quite. So, if you guys have any comments or any kind of things that you would like to tell us, just pop it in the chat. We are gonna be pleased to try to respond or try at least to comment on that. But anyway, we are gonna try to actually trying. We start with analyzing the odds that are on Eurovision World, and then we are gonna comment on a bunch of artists, or at least trying to understand if these odds represent the reality or not. Because with odds and Sanremo, sometimes it doesn't work quite good, mostly because it's Euro fans that vote, or I mean, the bet in Euro odds. And sometimes the Euro fans do not like what Italians like. Okay, so let's just gonna see pretty much what are the odds in this moment right now. So can you see my screen
Yes.
right now? Okay, so here are the odds right now, and we start by the last bunch that we are not really gonna focus on. In last position, we see Marcella Bella. That is, of course, she's old. She's from another generation. Rakomi, we already saw him. Moda, Serena Brancale, as Andrei you were telling us, she will gonna sing at least a portion of the song in the Apulia dialect. Sara Toscano, Rosa Villain, was already seen last year. Fedez, that today we had a really high discussion on Fedez on Italian media and stuff because of something happened, but we don't really care about it. Massimo Ranieri, the colors, but I think that the most interesting artists start from mid table on. Clara, we saw it last year. She can actually uh, bring a bop to the stage, and Febbre, from what we know, is actually a bop. John Thiele is really interesting. Francesca Michelin, we already saw her in Eurovision. But yeah, we are gonna move to the top 10, and we are gonna try to understand who between these 10 has the most, probable chances for winning. We see Elodie, we see Irama, we see Achille Lauro, we see Giorgia. What do we guys think? What do you
Yeah,
guys top
I
10?
think, like I say, this is a stacked lineup to start with. So I think for the artists that are in the top 10, what a compliment it is, even if it comes from Eurofans of like Italian music. But like you said, Elodie's in there. She's been in the national final before. But I think she's going to be bringing something a bit different than last time, right? So
Yes.
again, it's going to be interesting to see what she brings. We've got Achille Lauro, obviously represented San Marino back in 2022. So the fact that he's so high as well in Sanremo, not even like any other national final, is huge. So yeah, I'm finding the odds table really interesting actually, and it'll be interesting to see how that translates by the time we get to the stage in Sanremo.
Yes. What about you, Andrei? What do you think about this top 10? Who are the names that pop out the most for you?
Okay, so after even reading some of the, as you said before, the journalist reviews and so on, I want to further go on with what Chris said before, saying that Achille Lauro might be one of the most interesting names at this Sanremo. Would also be quite an interesting pipeline, going from representing San Marino, having a relatively not so good placement in Eurovision, and then going on to represent Italy after they kind of snubbed him at Sanremo. From the journalist reviews also, it says that he apparently has some sort of more romantic type of song, which is a really nice shift for Achille, especially knowing what he has brought before. Eurofans already know Stripper from Eurovision. So I think that's a new face of Achille that we have yet to see on such a big stage. Apart from that, I'm excited about Noemi. Noemi has always been one of my longtime favorite Sanremo artists ever, and apparently this time she has quite an interesting ballad, a power ballad written by Mahmoud and Blanco, if I'm not wrong. So a lot of high expectations on that. And apart
Michelangelo as
from
well,
that,
I think.
yes, exactly. So a lot of big names just coming onto this song. It has to have high expectations, and the odds really reflect that as well.
Exactly. Of course, we are going to talk about these artists in detail. Pretty much, we are going to cover pretty much what the press said and what can we expect from them. But I would say that this lineup is dominated by women. And it's something that we usually don't see in Sanremo. I see really high Giorgia. Giorgia actually is dominating the odds with even after the press heard the song. Let's talk a little bit about her. She's a seasoned artist. She has been in Sanremo a lot of times. She started in the newcomer session. She came on and she became one of the most powerful and interesting voices of the Italian music. And right now she's bringing a song written by Blanco. Uh, Honestly, the press is quite impressed. kind of with a really beautiful ballad that, unlike her time in Sanremo last time, so it was 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Um, it is a purely vocal ballad. So it starts slow, it starts really sweet, and then it explodes in the chorus where all her vocals can shine. I'm expecting a lot by her because I know what she can deliver on stage. And a lot of people are expecting her to win, even if, of course, with Sanremo, you never know because everything lights up on stage when we first hear the songs and when also we get the vibe of the song itself. It's not quite certain who is going to win, and we saw it. Like the only, I think the last time that we really knew the winner was Marco Mengoni in 2023. It was quite okay, it was quite known. Also in 2022 with Mahmoud and Blanco, it was okay, it was, we knew. But before that, there were years in which you could not even understand in which placement some acts could go. So I'm curious because this year I think it's really open.
Mm.
We have a plethora of different artists that are bringing different things and different opinions, and different views of the world and their music. So I just think that it's really open, you know. But if we can say something, because we didn't hear the songs yet, I can say that it will be a more ballady year. There will be more ballads than actually bangers like last year, from what we know. But yeah, this is something that we need. Like, I mean, if a ballad is good, it can win Eurovision. We know that. So I don't see why we have to just be scared of ballads. I mean, if they're well produced, if they are, of course, ballads in Italian is a big plus for many people. So I just don't see why we need to be scared of ballads itself. So many people are like on Twitter, or many friends of mine are saying like, oh, it will just be boring and ballady and that's it. But I don't see why. I see, if I think that a ballad is good, it's good.
I
It
think
might
that's
be.
what makes it so interesting, that seeing Georgia at the moment being so far ahead, because if she's coming with a ballad and she's that far ahead in the odds at the moment, it must be something special. So yeah, I think
I mean,
we'll be in
yeah,
for a good
I
one.
mean, in Sanremo, they usually favor ballads in general. We know it, but if
Yeah.
it's a female ballad, it means that it's something really good and really special. Because Georgia was not really high up in the odds, first of all, but also in the press reviews 2 years ago, because her song was actually quite weak in general. So seeing her really high there makes me hope that she's bringing something modern yet connected to classical Italian ballads that many people love and adore. So if
There's
we're
also
bringing
like
a ballad,
some rumors or and voices that during rehearsals, Georgia's song actually had a standing ovation from the orchestra itself.
Oh
yes,
wow,
So
yes,
that's pretty big. We
that's a big
almost never
compliment.
see exactly. We almost never see standing ovations by the orchestra nowadays in
no,
Sanremo.
quite never,
So
never
high
actually.
expectations again.
Yes. So I'm gonna just we had a little overview on the odds. So we know that Georgia is really high, Achille is really high, Ollie is really high. So let's just take a moment to just talk about these top 10 artists and what to expect by them. So we first of all, I'm gonna go in random order because of, I don't know, like I think that we need to talk first of all of those artists that are quite very well known in the Italian pop panorama, and also that competed again in Sanremo. So maybe we know them already. And I would likely start with, of course, the fan favorite here, or at least of mine. But I mean, I think it's a Eurovision ready performer, and I'm talking about Elodie. Elodie already participated in Sanremo 3 times, if I remember correctly, 2017, 2020 with Andromeda, and 2023 with Due. And this year she's bringing Dimenticarsi alle sette, which I will give Andrei the word for just describing this song, or at least what we know about the song.
Yeah. So from what we know, it's apparently this sort of dark pop sort of melancholic song that starts maybe a bit slow, then goes upbeat. And from at least the description, I would associate it with her last attempt when Marco Mengoni won, which was Due. So that sort of really dark pop vibe that usually does well at Eurovision, but it needs a strong performer. And we know she can deliver. We know at least that she can deliver the attitude on stage, like the character, like the whole image, face, and movements of Elodie on stage. She just commands it as if it was her own. So I fully believe Elodie to be one of the highest horses you could bet on in this race. And I'm really, it's one of the songs I'm most excited for, especially in the more upbeat department this year.
What about you, Chris? I know you're a big fan.
Oh yeah, we haven't heard the songs yet, but I think I'm gonna like it. Like, the one thing I love about Sanremo is just how well all of the artists command their stage on their own within the first couple of nights. And they just, there's no kind of talk about stage directions, angles. It's just, right, this is your time to perform your song the way you want it to perform it, and it's up to you to command it and show it to the world. So yeah, I'm really, really excited seeing what she's done in the past at past Sanremos. I think it's very, very promising, and hearing what the song is apparently going to be like. But what's the translation of the song title this year in English?
In English, it would be forgetting each other at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty good.
I mean, from what I understood from the lyrics, or at least from what the press said, it's like when you wake up in the morning and and your love forgot about yourself, like the love from the night before forgot about yourself. So it's quite dramatic. Like she says, this song is dramatic. This song is pure drama. This song is just me being vulnerable. It starts like a ballad. At least some press also said it starts even as classic Italian ballad from another time, from the past century. Like I don't know if you guys are used to Ornella Vanoni or this kind of really big and beautiful divas of the 60s or the 50s even. It starts like that, and then in the chorus she explodes with this electro, like EDM vibe. I'm really interested by that, because if it is like Due, it was a mid-tempo, and I loved Due. Also, the meaning of the song was great, but it was not enough for Sanremo. It would have been quite good in Eurovision, but it was not enough for Sanremo. In Sanremo, either you bring a ballad that is beautiful, or you bring something impactful. And I think Due was not impactful enough, for the Sanremo stage. I'm not saying about Eurovision. I'm saying about Sanremo. If she said also that if you want to cry, you can cry. If you want to dance, you can dance. If you want to dance crying, that's the optimal thing that you can do. She said like this. So I'm really expecting something different from her, because it's the first time ever that she produces and she writes the lyrics of his own song, at least for Sanremo. So it's the first time that and the producers are the same of Sinceramente, if I'm not mistaken, by Annalisa last year.
I mean, there we go.
So
like,
you have the whole package, like
yeah.
that was my favorite last year. So yeah,
mine too.
It sounds like a song that's going to have loads of content in it, and I think that's really good, because you don't want to kind of lose people's attention. It sounds like it's going to start off slow, go faster, and you don't really know which way it's going to turn, which is what I personally love in a Eurovision song. So yeah, fingers crossed for Elodie.
And some rumors, or at least, I don't know, undocumented, because everybody on Twitter says whatever they want.
Yeah, so much stuff is flying around.
Yeah, but I mean, what we know, what happened? I think Chris is just went a little bit. There is a problem with his Wi-Fi. But the thing is that Elodie is bringing something innovative this year, and I'm really hoping to see something different from what she brought in the past, because we saw how it worked in the last editions. if she brings something effective, if she brings something different, maybe people will vote for her, because she tends to have the support of the press pretty much and the radios, but she lacks televote, I think. So we need something like that. We need something that appeals to the grandma, appeals to, I don't know, the youngster, appeals to
Yeah.
everybody. That's what Sanremo is all about.
Yeah, she probably
Uh,
just the fact that she doesn't have that really strong fan base that other artists maybe have
exactly.
really puts
That's
her at a
another
disadvantage a
problem.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is that with Elodie is like that. There is a strong fandom, but it's really closed fandom. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Um, so it is in the middle, you know, whatever she brings it good. But um, it is like if it is good, I think she needs to improve the structure of the song, the feeling of the song. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, it's really
Hey,
it's
you're
a
back.
really strange concept here.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, hey.
Elodie was way too
So
good for your Wi-Fi.
Clearly. Apologies, guys.
we were
Where were
just
we?
wrapping up
Um,
on Elodie. So if you have
mhm.
any kind of remarks or just whatever on her, we are gonna pass to another artist right now.
Sure. No, I think she's got loads of promise. Like, I think Annalisa kind of came last year, and that was like, wow. Like, that was one of the first Sunremo kind of performances I saw where I was like, oh, I'm invested. So, yes, I hope we're going to get the same again from Elodie this year.
Mm. All right, all right. So I think we should pass to another artist that repeated quite many times. I would say too many times. That is Irama. Irama is a singer, really well known, really famous, really. I think it's one of the most promising yet famous at the same time pop artist in the Italian panorama. He managed to do like I don't know. He spans around so many genres in his career. We had pop, we had beach club, we have ballads. But in Sanremo, he always brings ballad. Apart from 2021, that was La Genesi del tuo colore, all the other songs, like last year, 2 years ago, they were all ballads. And this year, his song Lentamente is probably gonna go with a ballad, or at least what we heard, it is a ballad. So, what do you think, Andrei? Do you like Irama? What do you expect from him?
So I would say Irama is quite, it's basically the opposite of Elodie, right? He also tried many times, but where Elodie is missing maybe like a really vast audience, Irama is an artist that most of the time is carried basically mostly by the huge audience that he has. He has that one style of song, he has that one type of music he does at Sanremo, and it works for his fans. So he's probably not going to change it. And a title like Lentamente, which means slowly, does kind of call for a ballad to come to Sanremo in February this year as well. So uh, personally, I'm not too excited about Irama, but I want him to break out of that cycle of just doing ballads, because as you said, he also does multiple genres, right? He does pop, he does more upbeat music sometimes, and why not bring that at Sanremo at least one time? But maybe he will surprise us somehow. Maybe it's a mid-tempo ballad, maybe it's a ballad that goes into a more upbeat song, but for now it's not one of my most anticipated names, that's for
Mm,
sure.
mm, mm, mm. I mean, when I heard the title like lentamente, that means slowly, I was thinking that maybe he went with the title slowly to bring a bop. You know what I mean? Mm, I
Like
was
slow mo.
thinking of a different vibe, like slow mo, right? But the thing
Exactly.
is that because when he started to talk about this song, he always used a kind of style with himself. Also, um, s- talking, speaking. I don't know. Also using some emojis on. I don't remember which one, but some emojis on social media that were not really something that I would expect from someone bringing a ballad. You know, he implemented a style that was not something in line with a ballad, with a slow or a mid-tempo ballad. I was thinking of something different, but yeah, he's gonna bring a ballad. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, to be fourth in the odds right now, I think it must be half decent. But we've had some amazing male ballads at Eurovision from Italy, and it's Italian music in general in songs it's stunning. But I think if we're going to keep on bringing ballads to Sanremo and then onto Eurovision, it needs to have a bit of an edge, something that we haven't seen before. So yeah, I think Irama is probably the person to do that. But again, this is a really fierce competition. There's a lot of artists. So yeah, if you're going to have a ballad, it needs to be something special.
Exactly, like Neil Era says, Irama thinks it's the easiest way to win, I guess. Like I think with a ballad, you mean. Sarah says no, Irama just wants to be himself. So I think we have our first Irama supporter here. Between
That's completely fine. As I said, like it's
I
a certain
mean,
type of music. He is himself while he sings those songs, but he has just this really dedicated fan base that loves his music, and I think that's quite nice to have, especially as
I
an
love
artist.
Irama. I really like Irama. I like some songs more than others. Like La Genesi del tuo colore for me had to win 2021. Maneskin were not my favorites, so for me it was just it was amazing. Like I mean, the fact that he could not because he had COVID perform, and they just sent like the video, like the clip of the rehearsals, like affected him. But since then it didn't bring up tempo anymore. Maybe also because it was afraid of catching COVID again. I don't know, and don't be able to perform it on stage. But yeah, Irama is surely a contender. Every single time that he participates, he comes top 5, pretty much. So I don't know. Maybe he's here. Many people were saying that it's Irama's here because he competed a lot of time, but other times there were other people that could outshine him. Like we had Marco Mengoni, and of course we had Maneskin, we had Angelina Mango, but this time Irama is a little bit alone in that category, of male-dominated ballads. But I don't think it's just a matter of male or female ballads. It's if I will repeat myself here. If it's a ballad, it's a well-produced ballad, and it has that emotion, that click, as Chris was saying, like that edginess, that something different. It is worth to send to Eurovision. If it's just a plain Italian male ballad, we can skip it. Like we can send something else. We can have something else. We can have something innovative.
I think
Okay?
with Italian music as well, like that's why Marco Mengoni did so well. Many Eurovision fans didn't understand, not all Eurovision fans speak Italian. So I didn't understand all the lyrics, but the art of the song and the performance is that you're still able to connect to it, even not understanding it, and even be able to convey the emotion from the artist, which Marco did. So yeah, I think it's about the performance with a really good song as well.
And Marco didn't have even the most different Italian ballads. He had a really beautiful ballad. It was not quite different from other ballad that he did. For example, it was quite modern. I would say it was a modern ballad. But the thing that worked out well for Marco was really the staging in Liverpool. I think that camera angles were spot on, and I think like the production around it was really good, and that elevated the song. Of course, he's a seasoned performer. He knows how to sing. First of all, we need to understand, like we need to recognize that. And the song was really pure emotion. I understand it, but yeah, I personally I would send a female ballad if it's better, of course. But it's something that we don't see from Italy. We didn't see, like we saw a female bop, but we can also go with a female ballad. Like it has been a lot of time since we don't have a female ballad. Neil Era says, I like Irama though, this time Achille or Ollie may have the edge in that genre too. So let's talk about Achille and Ollie as well. Achille and Ollie are bringing ballads this year, or at least Achille is bringing a ballad and Ollie is bringing something mixed, if I remember correctly. Something like something that starts slow and then opens up to be a little bop. And Ollie is also a quite favorite to win. Like it's second in the odds right now. He had an amazing, like year last year. 2024 was Ollie's year with Angelina. They did a song together that was everywhere, literally everywhere. And Ollie like came really low in his first participation because it was a newcomer. Nobody knew about him, but later he published a new track, a new album, lots of songs that were streamed and passed on the radio. Sol is for sure a contender to win this year, and the press is actually quite fine with the song itself. But what do you think, Andrei, on Holly? Do you see potential here?
First, like just to give Chris maybe a sort of anchor he can lean on, since probably he doesn't really recognize the name Ollie.
Exactly.
This guy had this sort of exploding career. Like imagine an Angelina Mango, but male version.
Male, yeah.
That's suddenly this rise in just because of maybe one of two songs that made it everywhere on the radio, on the station, everywhere around Italy. And he had this really fast growth to become a really seasoned artist, and now he already has like arenas booked and a lot of concerts for the next year. So he's this really hyped sort of rookie singer that has been making the headlines as of late. So he has this sort of really emotional and like raw vocal, but mixed with pop sounds that are made to be catchy for the radio and for the average listener. So I think, as Samuele said, he's also quite a contender. And second in the odds, I don't really know because it's hard to tell right now. But second in the odds seems quite understandable for such a fast rise in popularity. I don't know if you've ever seen like some sort of experience like that with artists rising so fast and becoming favorites. But that's sort of the story with him.
Yeah, like I say, he's clearly had a really big rise in his career in a very short space of time. And he's not been phased by not doing as well in Sanremo in the past. It's inspired him to keep going and then come back this time. So, yeah, I think it'll definitely be a much better result for him this year. That's for sure.
I mean, the problem with Ollie is that he uses a lot of autotune. And in Sanremo is permitted, actually, because for Amadeus before, but also for Carlo Conti, this year, autotune is used as a vocal instrument more than a way to pitch perfect. So I mean, if you use it like Blanco uses as a lot for his songs because it's a vocal instrument. It's an instrument like you use, I don't know, a guitar or a piano. But for many is not, and is quite debatable. Of course, you can agree or you cannot. At the same time, this is not permitted in Eurovision. So if a song relies heavily on autotune, how does that reverse or go back? Like how does that affect your performance in Eurovision?
Do you think Ollie's someone like a person that could pull that off then if they used autotune in the national final and then had to kind of switch it up and rely on their vocal for Eurovision? Do you think they've got not just to do a performance, they can most likely sing a great performance live, but with the longevity that Eurovision demands with rehearsals, live performance, you know?
I mean, he sings well. I didn't see him a lot live, but I think that he sings quite good. Like last year, he sung 4 nights, and it was not last year, 2 years ago, if I remember correctly. And it was quite nice. I don't know, like he's really young. How old is he? Like 24, 25, something like that, even younger, I think. So I really don't know. Let's pop in the chat. I saw a comment about him. I'm Italian. I've liked Ollie since his first Sanremo, but I don't get why there's been chatter about him winning for months. So much so that it almost feels like it is decided already. Yeah, this is good. It's a good comment. I mean, Ollie is going to bring something that may end up as a winner that we didn't bring to Eurovision ever, like male pop, like male good pop, like not ballads. We had Italian rock with Maneskin. We had like the pop that we brought was Mahmood in 2019, and it was quite innovative for that year. My personal favorite ever for Eurovision from my country. So if he's bringing something new, if it's bringing something dancey, if it's bringing something, I don't know, quite particular that mixes up genres and stuff, why not? I mean, and if he can do it well and it performs it well, I think that we have a winner because people like him, like a lot of people like him, not just youngsters. He can be liked by radios. He can be liked by the press jury. I think that if he has a good song and if he presents it well, he's a clear contender because he has momentum. Because we need to remember that
Yes.
Angelina won because she had momentum.
Mhm.
You know, because she
Definitely.
was rising. She has been rising in the music panorama, in the Italian music panorama for months before Sanremo. She had a lot of hits before Sanremo, and when she bumped into Sanremo with La Noia, that was a banger, quite different from what we hear in Italian pop. It was just like the moment was right. If Ollie can pull that up, I can see a winning entry out of this.
Mhm.
Okay,
I
Yeah.
definitely think,
this is just
though,
my
I definitely think that for now the odds maybe are a bit not too cautious on his chances, because what Ollie maybe lacks is this sort of experience on a stage that is, for example, the Eurovision stage. Maybe he lacks a bit of like direction in his like image style, sort of what makes him an artist. Like as soon as you see, for example, Angelina Mango, you can already imagine her in some dress singing some sort of song. And for Ollie, I think he still needs to establish that in a sort of way, which is vital for Eurovision. So I think he is a contender. He could bring a lot, but for now, I would be a bit more cautious on his chances. That's for sure.
I
And
agree.
I was just going to add
Perfectly.
there that his song title, Ballada Nostalgia, that sounds like a song that is going to take us on a journey. So, yeah, I'm very excited to hear it.
Yeah, Balordo nostalgia means like how can you translate balordo? I don't know.
I mean, like
I mean,
maybe nostalgic in like English will be like, oh, like reflecting on a time like when you were younger, or like a
no,
good.
nostalgia means nostalgia, but also means how can I say? Like it means also no, it means nostalgia. Like you don't have
Yeah,
another. Basically,
nostalgia is
foolish.
nostalgia.
Exactly. Neil Harris has foolish nostalgia. You mean? He
Cool.
said that his song will reflect his background because he was born and raised in Genoa, so deeply in contact with the sea, the port, this city that is completely enclosed between mountains and the sea, completely snatched between it. So it will reflect also that it will reflect the sea, will reflect the I don't know, like this kind of. How can I describe it? I remember him saying it will be like dark, but vibey,
Mhm.
dreamy, something like that. You know,
Very
Ray
exciting.
Bailey says only to win. We will see. And MZ said, "I love for us to go to Eurovision with this music genre." So, yeah,
Mm,
I mean,
that's true.
his
That's true.
music is really what Italians like right now and what Italians listen. It's just plain Italian, well-produced pop with a little bit of a rap influence in some cases. So it's quite enjoyable. I myself, I'm not his biggest fan, but just because I didn't listen to his songs too much. Um, but I mean, I would be on his boat. The fact that Andrei said before that is not like is a new artist, is young, may affect him on stage, and also with regards to Eurovision, a little bit of experience showed that it's better to have a little bit of experience. Also with Italian new singers like Angelina, for me was amazing last year. I think that the staging could have been cured in another direction, but you can see that she was perfect, pitch perfect, but you can see that kind of being frightened to hell. I could see her in the eyes. So a little bit of no, I would not say experience, but being ready for something like
Yeah,
that.
like being
Yeah.
trusting in an artist's voice. Like, for example, Angelina Mango, you knew any time, any day, she was gonna hit the high note in La Noche, like, and she did. And there was no like. What I remember, what every time I watched her, I never had any concerns.
No.
Yeah, I think it's
the attitude, the mentality.
exactly. I think it's like what's the word? It's really, really good to have faith in the artist that you're sending, that you know that they can hit when the time comes.
Exactly.
So and for Italy, that is, it's nearly all the time. So
well, nearly, because I remember in 2022 when we were really scared of of how those two were gonna sing the song, because
at
we
least it was in
knew.
the home country.
And in the end, it ended not in the best ways. But
No, I mean, because we knew that they could sing it well because they did it in
Yeah.
Sanremo. So I didn't understand what was happening, and that was
Of
really,
course,
really, really pissing me off. That is something that I really I have 2022 ear, because it could have been a double, I think.
yeah, it's like a scar on every Italian's skin, just
But yeah,
melted into the body.
yeah, exactly. So On the Ground says Irama had the best song last year. I'm sorry for not showing it earlier, but we were talking about something else. And I was very disappointed. I trust him to bring another great song this time. Well, arguably the best song. I don't know. I prefer him in another style, but it was a quite enjoyable ballad. I'm a Spanish, so I cannot vote anyway. But you can vote in Benidorm Fest this week.
Yeah.
That we are actually following. But anyway, we jump out to Achille Lauro. Achille, we talked about him a little bit before. The fact that we are gonna see Achille, first of all, completely different from San Marino 2022, and second of all, he's gonna bring something completely different from what he brought to Sanremo. He's gonna bring a ballad. The song by Achille is called Incoscienti giovani, so foolish children, like something like that,
Yeah,
or
foolish
youngsters,
youngsters, something like
fooling
that.
youngsters. The Achille is bringing something like Amore Disperato. That for those who are not acquainted with Achille, is his last song, and it's a beautiful ballad about a viscerating love that ends. And it's just like, his voice is not the best one. He's not like, we don't recognize Achille Lauro for his voice. We recognize him for his hook, for his personality. And this
his
time he's
vibes.
bringing a ballad that is really similar to Amore Disperato, that right now is heavy in Italian radio and stream platforms. Everybody's talking about that song. It's beautiful. Like I literally fell in love with that song. And if the press says that is a Amore Disperato 2.0, so he's bringing something really similar. So the bar for me is really high, as Neil Hera says. Achille needs to bring something better than Amore Disperato. The bar is high for him, because if he did, I'm saying to me, if he didn't bring Amore Disperato, he's bringing something better, because Amore Disperato was literally here. So he needs to bring something here, But what are your thoughts on Achille, guys?
So, Chris, just before, I'm going to give you yet another anchor to maybe understand what Achille could bring.
I know a little bit more about this one, but go for it.
Yeah. Do you remember Tananai with the song Tango from a few years back?
Amore tra le palazzine a fuoco.
What year was this?
Was
2023. It came fifth, but maybe you didn't remember. Like, it was a beautiful ballad about in the video there were like two Ukrainians, like two Ukrainian couple, and the girl fled to Italy while he stayed in Ukraine to fight. So it was really beautiful. It was a love song. But yeah, if you don't remember, it's fine.
The reason
we had a lot of ballads this year.
The reason I reference that is because it's like this sort of rap, pop, really grungy artist that we can see both in Tananai and Achille Lauro switch up their genre for Sanremo, and they bring a ballad. The last time that Tananai did it, It worked really, really well. It came fifth. Everybody loved it. It had some wonderful lyrics in there mixed with its own style. And I think Achille Lauro could go for kind of the same trajectory. Well, he's this really grungy, rappy, out there. Like you saw Achille Lauro in Stripper, right? You saw him riding a rodeo on the Eurovision stage.
Iconic.
Right? Iconic, right?
And needed to pass
Then
the final.
Imagine that
completely.
Ron is in a ballad. I think it's quite exciting to know that an artist like that can put the emotion and the vibes and the images that he puts in this sort of really grungy song into a ballad. So I'm really excited to see what the imagery would be, what the vibes would be. Will he be in a suit singing a ballad, or will he be naked on stage, right? Because with Achille Lauro, there's sort of no in between. It's either 0 or 100.
Exactly.
Definitely.
I mean, yeah. The fact is that with Taranai, we didn't have, I think, even a clue that he was bringing a ballad, because we knew him for that grungy, rappy kind of out of the blue style. Whereas with Achille, we know what he can do with a ballad right now. So maybe we don't have that wow effect anymore because we know. But it's Achille, so we cannot expect anything else than beautiful and well thought. And fun fact, Achille is actually singing, like in the fourth night. Achille is doing the cover night with Elodie this year, because this year they can actually pair up between the artists themselves.
Wow.
So it will be the most anticipated ones will be Achille and Elodie, and of course Giorgia with Annalisa singing Skyfall by Adele.
Oh wow!
And it will
Oh
be
my
it will be
God.
just really it will be a real moment.
There
Yeah.
won't be a dry eye in the house. That will
No, in fact, pictures of the Ariston completely blown out were circulating on Twitter, made with AI. Just people saying that little theater in the middle of I don't know, in the really small town will be completely obliterated by them. We will see. I mean, I really enjoy covers night. I think it's for us that we are Italians. We know the songs, we know the traditions behind them. It's really a fun night to watch with the family. It's like a tradition to watch it with the family, to just laugh out loud when the cover is too quirky, for get emotional, like Angelina last year with La Rondine by his father. It was amazing. Should have won, but didn't. So yeah, it's a really beautiful night. And Achille and Elodie are gonna sing a medley of songs inspired by the city of Rome. So they were gonna bring that thing because they are both from Rome. MZ says, I love tango, so somebody knows it. And it did wonders for his career, from last with trash pop to fifth with a beautiful ballad the next year. Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting Taranai to come back soon in Sanremo, because we need him right now. I think it's a really beautiful soul. It's really, really, I don't know, nice, and knows how to say the right thing for now. But MZ also says another like introducing another character here. Talking about the experience makes me think of Francesca Michelin. She was so young last time. She went to Eurovision. Now she's back on her own, so could do well with a good song. I mean, I loved Francesca's song. In 2016, it was the only year in which Italy sent, like in the recent years, in which Italy sent the second one to Eurovision, because the Stadio that year did not accept. Thanks God. And she did a really wonderful job with that song. I really like the song. But the fact is that she was really young. She was really, really, how old was he? Like 20, maximum 20, like 19, 20, something like that. Because she won the X Factor in 2013 or 2011, something like that, when she was like 15, 16. And then she became a beautiful artist. Like right now, she is the artist that everybody needs to compose, like to write a song. When Francesca Michelin writes a song, you can feel it, because she knows how to play 300 instruments. She has a musical degree, but also, like I wanted to say, like she has a musical background. Like she knows
like
how to
knowledge
write
of
music.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows how to compose music. And she's a poet. When she writes song, you can feel it. And this year she's bringing Fango in Paradiso. That literally means mud in paradise.
Yeah.
They say it's a beautiful ballad, and she said when she presented herself in the Sanremo Giovani semifinal, when everybody was presenting the title of their songs, she said that she wrote the song after being dumped, and she wanted to talk about that, about how it felt that somebody like stood her up, and that's it. But in a quirky way, not like in a really sad and horrible way. Like, okay, I was dumped. Let's talk about it. So I'm expecting something beautiful because she knows how to deliver, and she's a beautiful performer. So what do you guys think about her?
Very
She's
much
there,
like
no? In the odds, I think she's quite low. She's
Michelin
14.
14th, so like midway there.
Yeah, she's still a past. She's still a past like Italian representative. So
Yeah,
did you like her, Chris, in 2016?
Yeah, I really did. Yeah, I thought the performance was quirky, and because of that, it stood out. And again, the way she connected with the camera as well was really captivating. And I think why a lot of people
She was innocent.
Exactly.
Really innocent.
Yeah. Definitely. But like I was just about to say about these odds, like, yes, she's number 14 right now, but the margins between these artists is so small. So we could find over the next couple of weeks these odds changing, different artists overtaking each other.
Completely change.
Yeah, completely. Like after the first night, you'll see a bunch of red and green on the odds.
And that's what's so special about Sanremo is that because it's over 4 nights, night after night, and it's exhausting, yes, but you fall in love with these artists and within a very short space of time. And I think that's what's really special about it. And yeah, I can't wait to just see it all pick up.
I mean, the fact is that it is the only like, if we can, of course, I don't want to say it, but Sanremo, it is a national final, or at least
it wasn't originally,
It isn't. It isn't, but it is.
Exactly.
Because
Technically,
right now Eurovision, it's in the rules of Sanremo itself. Like there is a page dedicated to Eurovision. So of course it works as a national final, but itself it's a festival. It's like FIG. FIG is the same. Yeah. It's not a national final, but it works like a national final. So when you have something like special and different, because Sanremo is completely different from all the other national selections, it's the only national final, if we can say like that you don't hear the song before. So you have that wow factor. You have that you the first nights you want to be there because you want to listen to the songs, and then at midnight you go midnight 2, 3 in the morning. You go and listen to the studio version on Spotify because they may be different from the orchestra version because they are completely different. Sometimes some songs are completely different. But that is the beautiful thing about Sanremo, that you are drawn to it because you don't know anything. You just know a random journalist that usually likes ballads from like the 60s or the 50s and is a really elite, describes the songs. But in general, like the first opinion that you have may change completely from the final. Like I remember that some years during the first night I was like, yeah, that song is bullshit, and on the last it was 5th, and I loved it because I completely changed my mind. That is the dynamics that develop in Sanremo and make Sanremo special,
Completely agree.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, since like we're 2 Italians, right? And Chris is the only one that's not Italian. What's like your first place right now that you're most excited for, apart from the ones that we've discussed so far? Like, do you want to add any other name?
I mean, we haven't talked about Noemi.
Noemi.
Sorry. Has she been in Sanremo before? Has she got quite a history?
A lot. Yeah. Is the most like I think that this year I think that this year she is the one that repeated the most, like 8 times.
Yeah,
she really wants
again. She's grown that favoritism over time. So
I mean, like the press says that this is the time Noemi has the right song for herself,
and that's good.
I mean, she had beautiful songs in Sanremo. I think Noemi is really the underdog here because she is the voice of Italian music, I think.
Mhm.
With Giorgia and maybe, I don't know, but Noemi has such a different voice and particular voice that you instantly connect with it because it's raw. It comes from the soul.
It's really
She
raspy kind of
participated,
voice.
raspy. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman, and she knows how to sing perfectly.
Mhm.
Um, she participated with Sono Solo Parole like 10 years ago. Beautiful ballad, like one of the most beautiful. Like I think that Sono Solo Parole was the best song of the 2000 in Italy, like the
Mhm.
2000, like the decade, probably for me. It was just a beautiful ballad. She performed ballads. She did um, pop songs like Ti amo non lo so dire, wrote by Mahmood. Beautiful song as well. Glicine was right there. This year she comes with a full package. She comes with a song produced by Michelangelo and written by Mahmoud and Blanco. So expectations are here. Like if you have such a dream team behind, expectations are really high.
Mhm.
And I think that she can pull it off. Like she can pull it out. She can do it. She can do well in Sanremo. Not always being, I don't know, 11th or 10th or
Yeah.
14th. She can do the top five, please.
Mhm.
She's
So
right
potentially a
for
dark
Sanremo
horse
this year.
then this year.
Yeah.
I
A lot
think
of dark
that if
horses
people
this year, yeah.
resonate with I think that if people resonate with their song, and if her song is as good as the press says, yes, because she doesn't have a lot of fans, like an affiliated fandom. The problem with Sanremo is fandoms for Televote.
Mhm.
Also, I think it's
Yeah.
all national selections, but in Italy, it's really, I don't know. It's problematic. I always say that for me, Sanremo would have been better without Televote at all, because the problem with fandom is really really huge. Like last year, Joliet, without all that fandom that he had, he would have even reached top five, I think. But it was all the fandom, and it was a region and a city completely with him.
Mhm.
Um, so just did I hear produced by Michelangelo and written by Mahmoud and Blanco?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. It is that.
Dream team.
Yeah,
I am
everybody's
very
jumping on the
curious.
Mahmoud and Blanco train. So.
Yeah, I'm very curious about Noemi and Tony F because they're doing a duo. Yeah, in the
Mm.
covers night. I just listened to Un giorno mi darai, Sarah. After so long, and it's beautiful and has a great progression and climax. Would have worked for locals, I think. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Noemi is a piece of Italian music for decade, or at least I think she was second, or she won X Factor, but one of the first editions. So
Yeah.
I think 15 years ago, something like that. Um, I wanted Noemi with win to win with last with Glicine. Let's talk about this. Emis Killa, and then we're gonna wrap it up because we pretty much talked about the most important ones. Maybe we just throw a little bit something on the remaining ones that we didn't mention, like they are there high in the top. Emis Killa withdrew today from Sanremo due to a warranty notice received today, so they have to replace him with Jalis joining for. I don't
They
know
will never
if
join.
no, I don't know if you are acquainted with Jalis, Chris. Jalis is this group that represented Italy in 1993, the last
Okay.
time Italy participated in Eurovision before the big
Mhm.
break,
Yeah.
with Fiumi di Parole. Amazing for me. It was
Amazing song, yeah.
beautiful. Amazing song. We came like fourth, fifth, something like this. I don't remember. So it was quite well received.
Mhm.
But no, Emiskila withdrew because he had problem with a warranty notice received today. So he said, if I have like to participate in Sanremo and and I'm not in the best mood, I'm not in the best, because Sanremo is a journey. Like Sanremo is really like I go there, I do it, and then there is all the things around. So you need to be calm, you need to be relaxed to do Sanremo.
Mhm.
It's a
I can
whole
imagine.
week where you have to
Yeah.
sing every single night and you have to be there with your
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
So he said, just if I cannot do it properly, I'm okay not doing it. So he renounced it. It's the first withdrawal in many years, if I remember correctly. Like
Yeah.
with Bugo and Morgan, it was 2020, 2021. Well,
I
it's
don't
okay.
know.
They just were. excluded because of what they did on the stage. But here is the first withdrawal since a lot of years. So
yeah, we saw so many withdrawals this year. Not even Sanremo could escape it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Exactly.
cursed.
We just I don't know. We just need to see a withdrawal in Benidorm during this week, and we are done completely.
Oh my word! I think the fandom would break if that happened.
Yeah. This most of all the Spanish fandom, I would say, it would completely
Exactly.
break. Noemi and Giorgia are 50. Do we really want people to laugh at us in Europe for sending grannies? What? Donatella, please. Come on. Noemi is not
50
even
is the
50.
new
Like
30.
Noemi is like 35, 40, something like that, no?
50 is not old. It's just a
And
number.
I mean, if the song is good, who cares? No?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if the song is good, who cares? Like the song is good, let's send it.
I agree.
So between the first 10 that we didn't talk about, we have Rocco Ant. Okay, we can skip it. Like he will bring something in Neapolitan,
Yeah.
Italian, like mixture
Dialects
between
again.
dialects. Simone Cristicchi, he's a modern cantautore, so he's a modern singer-songwriter from the Italian tradition. And the press loved it as usual. They usually love this kind of songs full of like where the lyrics are the spot of the song. I'm not predicting him to be in the top 5. Maybe like if the people if the juries like it. And then we have Lucio Corsi that will sing with Topo Gigio with like an actual mouse during the covers night. I don't know, like
That's gonna be so
cartoon,
fun.
a Looney Tune, like from the Italian.
It's basically our Dustin the Turkey. Like it's so iconic.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and they will sing Volare nel blu dipinto di blu by Domenico Modugno. Volare.
I know the one. Yeah.
And then I really expect something good by Comacose because they said they saw
same. Hell yeah.
Cuoricini. Cuoricini, that means little hearts, but it's that like Cuoricini are the not the little hearts that you have inside your body or like inside of your body, but the Cuoricini that you put on Instagrams or the likes. You know, that is the reference to the song.
Very
and they
2025.
say, yeah, no, they say that the song is really in line with Malavita, that is last their last song. That is completely different from what they brought to Sanremo in the last period, in the last participations. They brought ballads, or at least indie ballads. This time they are bringing a bop. So a bop, as they know how to do. So I'm really expecting something good for them.
And like just a really fun thing from the what we know from the journalists. Apparently, it's a guilty pleasure for so many journalists that have already listened to the song. Like it's the guilty pleasure song so far among all the people that have seen it.
Wow.
So I'm expecting something like really upbeat, maybe like
I'm really excited,
really catchy, really poppy.
I'm really excited. Because in a year full of ballads, bop are gonna stand out. So if it's a good bop,
yeah.
We've talked about so many ballads, so yeah.
I mean, we have quite a lot of ballads this year, but maybe there are different kind of ballads. I hope
of course,
to have different kind of ballads, so we will not be really, because when it's too many ballads, it will be boring. But instead, I want to have different kind of ballads.
Not when it's Italian. If it's Italian, it's good, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we are Italian, so we are used to it. So maybe people that are not used to it. And then we pretty much talked about the favorites. We would be here 100 years talking about Tony F and what we expect from him, because it's really controversial. But let's just pop in the chat for last time, and then we are gonna do our top 5 prediction for the super final. I rediscovered Topo Gigio recently, and I found out that he's famous all over South America and even in Japan. I want him as an interval act in the next Eurovision hosted in Italy. I don't see it coming, but it's quite funny. So, which is our early prediction for top 5 super final? I would say we don't know because we don't know the songs. Early on, we can just give our own idea. Personally, I will take into consideration making my top 5. The idea, like my personal idea counts relatively, because I like something, but the general Italian public may like something else. For me, I would go pretty much with what I heard from journalists and what I think Italians like voted in the past. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know. Like, let's go with Chris. Let's start with you.
Sure. So Elodie is currently 5th in the odds. I think she's going to go up. I think her song sounds very promising. And yeah, I could see her definitely top 3. So that's one. Achille Lauro, I definitely think will be in there. Giorgia, she has a big kind of step ahead in this odds. So it must be a really, really quality ballad with something special in there, something that kind of catches your attention. So I think she'll be there. And last but not least, I mean, yeah, it's got to be Ollie, Ballado Nostalgia. So yeah, that's my 5.
All right.
All right. So, Andrei, what about you?
So I think the safest bet is probably Georgia. As Chris said, there has to be something special about that ballad. It has to be there. It already has so much support. So that's my one safe bet. I think the second name I want to put in there is Irama. I think he's going to be again in the top 5, as he usually is. That fan base is probably always going to be there for him. So that's another name. That's 2. I think third, as the third name, I would put Achille Lauro as well. I think he could have, as I said, the same impact that Tananai had with this, like going from rap to ballad. He's a really expressive artist and has a clear image in his head. So I think he can do a lot. Fourth, let me think. Fourth, I hope Elodie is going to be in there. I really hope she, like, in my heart, I really hope that this is going to be Elodie's year. It's her time. It's a long time coming. She's tried many years, and this really seems like her chance. And as fifth, I'm going to put a personal favorite of mine and put in Come Cose, which we've talked about just a second ago with Poricini. I think that guilty pleasure aspect of the song will really come into play this Sanremo, where we see a lot of ballads, and it could really make them stand out, especially now that they've changed their style from ballads to a beat. So that's my fifth, because I really want to have hope in them. So hopefully they'll make it out, at least for a top 5.
I mean, if they have the same effect as La Rappresentante di Lista,
yeah,
maybe yeah. In this year that we have so many ballads, like La Rappresentante di Lista with Amare or with Ciao Ciao, they were amazing, but there were a lot of bangers those years as well. So they get quite lost. Then, of course, Ciao Ciao was the hit that it was. But I think that I agree with you on that. So for me, Giorgia, it's sure, like we know. I also put Achille, just because I think that too many people like him. Like he always been in the top 5, if I remember correctly, or at least top 10.
I don't remember if Domenica was in the top 10.
Domenica was not.
Domenica was not. Yeah.
Then I put Ollie. And then I was positive too much. Maybe I was too much positive, and I put Noemi and Elodie together. But I don't think it will be like that. I think that most surely Noemi's place will be Rama's one, and Elodie will be 5th, maximum 5th or 4th. I hope she wins, but I have to be realistic. And I have to accept that Elodie is not, like, for the gays, she's everything. For the people, she's normal. For many people, she's like a bitch. So she treats people like she's this kind of edgy avant-garde.
She's a diva.
Diva, exactly. Yeah. But she's really down to earth, because she's from the really popular popular area of Rome. So she's really down to earth, but she has that kind of diva vibe that is not really in line with Italian grandmothers, But yeah, just let's pop out for the last time in the comments, and then we are gonna wrap it up. My psychology professor loves Achille Lauro for some reason. I can imagine him televoting him like crazy. Donatella says Elodie, Ollie, Rocco, and Giorgia. Settembre. I think you're not like Settembre is in Giovani. Also here, don't understand the singer. Settembre is in Giovani. So if he can, he wins Giovani. He cannot access to the this year in particular. The Sanremo the Sanremo Giovani winner does not access to the Sanremo big category because they didn't finish before. Like they didn't finish Sanremo Giovani before in December, but it will come back like when Baglioni or Carlo Conti was there. So we are going to have a winner of Sanremo Giovani there. So Settembre cannot be there. I am gay and I can't stand all of this since I watched there on Amici. So I'm sorry. You are banned from watching our lives in Sanremo ever again because we are going to always protect our LOD. Are all the singers Italian
Maybe.
this year? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Because of
that usually is the
because
case.
of Anamena.
Yeah,
I have a
that's one
crush on the
exception.
singer of the Colors, and I'm gay as well. I'm not the biggest. Guys, what is happening with you with the gays? Come on.
I'm sure once the song comes out, things will be different.
Exactly. You pretend you're gay if you do not like Elodie. Shame on you. Go back to your wife. It's okay. So, guys, wrapping up, let's just say who we think is going to win Sanremo. So, we are going to compare it to the final when we are going to understand who. For me, is going to be Giorgia.
For me, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Georgia, but again, then Måneskin were 21st in the odds, so before the show itself. So you can never know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Elodie.
You're too positive, but we love it. We love it.
2025 is the year for positivity, you know. So yeah.
I
We will
mean,
see.
if I could, I would put her as winner as well, but I know that she will not. I
You
hopefully will
never
be
know.
wrong.
Really setting those expectations low.
Really low.
It's
As
gonna be-
always with Sanremo. I really set my
Yeah.
expectations really low, so I'd be surprised in the end, actually.
Definitely. It's gonna be
So,
amazing.
guys, loved you. Thank you so much for just this initial little sneak peek to Sanremo. We tried to do as much as we could in 1 hour. An hour and 15 almost. But yeah, thank you so much, Andrei. Thank you so much, Chris. It has been a pleasure as always. Thank you to all the people that watched us and commented. We are going to expect you for our lives. I don't know, maybe from Sanremo, but this is a little secret that I don't know about it. Maybe we will be in Sanremo, maybe not. We are going to see. Of course, this week we have a lot of national finals: Greece, Spain, what else? Belgium.
Slovenia, yeah. Loads.
Slovenia, yeah.
Yeah.
So tune in because we're going to cover as every single year is going to cover all the national selections and of course from Basel in May. So yeah, let's just wrap it up and see you guys in next videos or next lives. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.